What are your strengths and weaknesses? Best answers. If there is one interview question that makes even smart and qualified candidates nervous, it is this one: what are your strengths and weaknesses? It sounds simple, but this question is actually a test of self-awareness, confidence, honesty, and communication skill all at once. Interviewers do not ask it just to hear flattering words about you or to catch you making a mistake. They ask it because they want to know how well you understand yourself, how clearly you can present your value, and whether you can speak about improvement in a mature and professional way. The biggest mistake candidates make is either giving a weak strength that sounds generic, like I work hard, or giving a weakness that damages their chances, like I am always late or I do not work well with people. The best answer is not about sounding perfect. It is about sounding real, capable, and coachable. So let us start with strengths. When an interviewer asks about your strengths, they want to hear something relevant to the role, supported by a short example, and presented with confidence. A strong answer usually follows a simple formula: name the strength, explain how it helps you at work, and back it up with a brief example. For example, if you are applying for an office, customer service, sales, teaching, healthcare, or management role, one excellent strength is communication. You could say, one of my biggest strengths is communication. I make sure instructions are clear, I listen carefully, and I try to adjust my communication style depending on the person I am speaking with. In my previous experience, this helped me avoid misunderstandings, build trust with customers, and work more smoothly with my team. That answer works because it is clear, useful, and believable. Another great strength is adaptability. Employers love candidates who can handle change without panic. A strong answer could be, one of my strengths is adaptability. I learn quickly and adjust well when priorities change. In fast-paced environments, I stay focused and try to find practical solutions instead of getting stuck on what changed. This tells the interviewer that you can stay useful even when things are not perfect. Another powerful strength is problem solving. Many employers look for people who do not just complain about issues but actually think through them. You might say, I would say one of my key strengths is problem solving. When a challenge comes up, I stay calm, look at the details, and try to find an efficient solution. I enjoy improving processes and identifying small changes that can make work easier or more productive. That answer is strong because it shows value. Dependability is another excellent strength, especially for entry-level jobs, operations roles, support roles, and positions where consistency matters. You could say, one of my strengths is reliability. If I am given a task, I take ownership of it and make sure it gets done properly and on time. I believe being dependable builds trust, and I take that seriously in any role. Teamwork is also a smart choice, but only when said properly. Do not just say, I am a team player. Instead say, one of my strengths is collaboration. I work well with different types of people, I respect ideas from others, and I focus on shared results. I have found that strong teamwork usually leads to better performance and fewer mistakes. Notice the difference. It sounds more professional and thoughtful. Now let us talk about weaknesses, because this is where most candidates lose confidence. The interviewer is not expecting you to say you have no weaknesses. In fact, that answer often sounds arrogant or unprepared. They want to see whether you can recognize an area of improvement and whether you are actively working on it. The ideal weakness is real, not fatal, and followed by a clear improvement plan. For example, one safe and effective weakness is being too detail-focused. A good answer could be, one weakness I have worked on is spending too much time on small details. Earlier, I wanted everything to be perfect before moving on, but I realized that efficiency is also important. I have been improving by setting time limits for tasks and focusing more on priorities without compromising quality. This works well because it shows self-awareness and progress. Another smart weakness is public speaking, especially if the job does not fully depend on constant presentations. You might say, one area I have been improving is public speaking. I am comfortable in one-on-one and team conversations, but I used to feel nervous when speaking in front of larger groups. To improve, I have been practicing more, preparing thoroughly, and taking opportunities to speak up in meetings. That answer feels human and responsible. Another acceptable weakness is delegating, especially for candidates in leadership or supervisory tracks. A strong answer is, one weakness I noticed in myself is that I sometimes take on too much personally because I want to make sure everything is done well. Over time, I learned that effective delegation is important for team growth and productivity, so I have been working on trusting others more and assigning tasks more efficiently. Time management can also be used, but only carefully. Never say you are bad at managing time. Instead, frame it as something you refined. For example, earlier in my career, I sometimes underestimated how long certain tasks would take, especially when balancing multiple priorities. To improve, I started planning more carefully, using task lists, and setting earlier internal deadlines for myself. That sounds constructive. Another good weakness is asking for help too late. You could say, one weakness I have worked on is trying to solve everything on my own for too long before asking for support. I value independence, but I have learned that asking the right question at the right time can save time and improve results. Now I am more mindful about when to seek input. This is a strong answer because it shows maturity. Now here is something very important: your strength should match the job, and your weakness should not directly damage your fit for the role. If you are applying for a customer service job, saying your weakness is dealing with people is a bad idea. If you are applying for an accounting position, saying your weakness is paying attention to detail would be risky. If you are applying for a sales role, saying communication is your weakness could hurt you. Always choose wisely. Also avoid fake weaknesses like, I work too hard, or I care too much. Interviewers have heard these answers many times, and they usually sound rehearsed. The best answers are honest but strategic. You want to sound strong, but not robotic. You want to sound humble, but not insecure. That balance is what makes your answer powerful. Another tip is to keep your answer focused. Do not talk too long. Usually, one strength with an example and one weakness with improvement is enough unless the interviewer asks for more detail. Practice your answer until it sounds natural, not memorized. Confidence matters. The same words can sound strong or weak depending on your delivery. Speak clearly, maintain calm body language, and avoid sounding apologetic about your weakness. Growth is normal. Employers know that. What they want is someone who is aware, responsible, and willing to improve. Let us put it together in a polished sample answer. You could say, one of my biggest strengths is communication. I am good at listening carefully, understanding what is needed, and making sure information is shared clearly. In my previous experience, this helped me work well with both colleagues and customers, especially in situations where clarity was important. As for weakness, one area I have been improving is spending too much time on details. I used to focus heavily on making every part perfect, but I realized that balancing quality with efficiency is important. To improve, I now prioritize tasks more carefully and manage my time better so I can stay productive while still delivering strong results. That is the kind of answer that sounds professional, balanced, and interview-ready. Remember, this question is not here to defeat you. It is an opportunity. It allows you to show the interviewer that you know your value and that you are serious about growth. The strongest candidates are not those who pretend to be flawless. They are the ones who can speak honestly about where they excel, where they are improving, and how they continue to get better. So before your next interview, do not memorize random strengths and weaknesses from the internet. Think about your own real experiences. Identify what you do well, what you are improving, and how to present both in a way that fits the role. When you do that, this question stops being scary and starts becoming one of the easiest ways to leave a strong impression. And that is exactly how you turn a common interview question into a confident, job-winning answer. What are your strengths and weaknesses?